This is Global Tennessee, news, analysis, and commentary from the Tennessee World Affairs Council in Nashville. Global Tennessee is produced in association with the Center for International Business at Belmont University and the International Business Council of the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce. The World Affairs Council is a nonpartisan, nonprofit educational association, and the views expressed on Global Tennessee are those of the participants.
Welcome to the August 4th episode of Global Nashville with Karl Dean. From the Tennessee World Affairs Council, I'm Patrick Ryan. This evening, former Nashville Mayor Karl Dean and guest host John Kayoko will be talking with Consul-General of Japan, the Honorable Kayoko Fukushima. Before we start, let me share some upcoming events from the World Affairs Council. Tomorrow evening, we'll be hosting a Global Young Professionals Zoom meeting, a webinar that you can join and talk with diplomat in residence for the Southern region of the United States, Alan Dubose. An informal conversation and a networking event, and we hope that you'll join the Young Professionals group on that webinar. Upcoming World Affairs Council programs include our Election 2020 series. We'll be talking about the critical issues that all voters should know before they go to the polls. It starts out August 25th with a webinar with former Defense Secretary William Perry on nuclear proliferation. You can see the other topics and dates, and you can register for those by going to the tnwac.org calendar. They'll be posted in the coming days. Also of interest, we're doing a webinar series with a collection of World Affairs Councils from around the country to talk about COVID and its effects in the developing world and the return to what would be normalcy after COVID, what it's going to look like after COVID, and the pursuit of the vaccine. So that's a collaboration of World Affairs Councils and journalists from Radio Free Europe from around the world. So check that out as well on our calendar. Lastly, I'd like to mention that the World Affairs Council is a membership organization where we rely on you to bring programs like this and others to the community. We do community outreach programs and education programs, and we appreciate your support by becoming a member or making a donation to the World Affairs Council. You can go to our website, tnwac.org, for more information. Now, let's get on with our program. Let me remind you to add your good questions into the Q&A tab on your Zoom screen. Joining Mayor Dean this evening is John Kayoko, an attorney with Baker Donaldson, where he leads the global business team. John has extensive professional experience in working in East Asia. He has served as chairman of the Japan-American Society of Tennessee and is a member of the Tennessee World Affairs Council Board of Directors. John is also Honorary Consul General of the United Kingdom to Tennessee. Consul-General Fukushima assumed her post as Consul-General of Japan in Nashville in December 2019. This is her third diplomatic assignment in the U.S. She received a Master of Law and Diplomacy from the Fletcher School at Tufts University in 1985 and served at the Consulate-General of Japan in New York. The Consul General has extensive experience working with the United Nations. She served as a program officer at the UN University and as the founding director of the UN Women to Japan Liaison Office, both based in Tokyo. Consul General Fukushima joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan in 1981 after receiving a Bachelor of English Literature from Sophia University. She has held a variety of posts at the ministry headquarters in Tokyo, most recently serving as Director of Diplomatic Archives. Prior to that, she held several posts in the Minister's Secretariat, including as Senior Coordinator of the Public Diplomacy Strategy Division, as well as Assistant Chief of Protocol. She served overseas at the Embassy of Japan in Ireland and the Embassy of Japan in Thailand. We thank the Consul General for joining us this evening. Karl?
Thank you, and Consul General, welcome. It's an honor to have you on the program, and we're thrilled that you're here with us in Nashville.
Hello, nice to meet you, and I'm very pleased to join you today.
All right, well, here's the most important question I'm going to ask you all night. Are you a baseball fan?
Oh, yes.
All right, and can I ask you, while you were at the Fletcher School at Tufts up in the Boston area, did you become a Red Sox fan?
Yes, yes. Red Sox is very popular, yes.
Well, very diplomatic. Well, let me ask you, we heard a little bit about your background, but can you tell us how you got interested in foreign relations and diplomacy? And then tell us a little bit about your educational background and your career path.
Yes. My initial interest in foreign countries or foreign people started in an expo, which was held in Japan, Osaka, Japan, a long time ago. And I was very surprised to see various pavilions of foreign countries and also the people there. And some of the pavilions, like a Scandinavian pavilion with a very nice field, and also the pavilion of Pakistan, which offered a variety of curry, which was not available in Japan. I was amazed to see how wide the world is, and I really got interested to meet with foreign people by going there.
Talk a little bit about what your educational background in terms of how it prepared you to go into diplomacy, and then how you ended up here. I mean, what sort of how has your career developed?
Yes, when I was elementary and also junior high school student, I just went to a public school without any special education, and I went to the high school. It was also the public school, but since I wanted to be a diplomat, I entered into a university with some international education. That was the Sophia University. In Sophia University, there are many foreign teachers, as well as Japanese teachers, and in the department I belonged to, which was an English language department, many of the teachers were foreign teachers, and many classes were taught English. So that was the start of my being kind of exposed to the international education. And after joining the ministry, my study at Fletcher School, Tufts University for 2 years gave me a great opportunity to be knowledgeable about the international relations, as well as to know about American friends who are studying together.
So you were already working for the ministry before you went to Tufts.
Right. Ministry gives us 2 or maybe depending on some languages, like very special languages, 3 years. So usually 2 years of studying abroad as a part of ministry's training. And in my case, my language specialty was English. And that's why I was sent to the US. And also, I wanted to study at the educational institution with some specialty in international relations. And that's why I studied at the Fletcher School.
And during your studies, were you mainly interested in sort of the economics or the trade aspects of foreign relations, or was it more the political government-to-government relationships that was your interest?
I took some courses of international law, American history, and security studies.
Good, good.
So more of international relations or politics rather than economics. Yes.
And so what have you, before coming to Nashville, you've been in the United States in other positions. Where else have you been assigned?
So I was at the consulate in New York for 3 years. Yes. It was from 1991 to 1994, if my memory is correct. Yes.
And as Consul General, you actually handle a district that I think is Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
Yes.
It's a pretty large area.
Yes.
Can you tell us what does a Consul General do, and you know, what is your day like?
Okay. One of the primary jobs is to ensure the safety of the Japanese people, both Japanese residents and also Japanese people traveling to the area. And in relation to that, there are quite a few Japanese business present in my jurisdiction. So to support the business and also the Japanese residents is a very important job of the consulate. And on top of that, to closen the relations of US and Japan in the region is a very important job that I have. And in close cooperation with the Japanese residents as well as American students to kind of make the exchanges between the two countries closer is my important job.
Yeah. Well, I remember when the Consul General's office opened, I think it was early in my first term. I know it had been in the works actually before I became mayor.
Yes.
And it was a real honor for Nashville because it was the first Consul General office to be placed in Nashville. And I think it was a recognition of the level of trade and business between Tennessee and Japan. But we were thrilled, and we have continued to be thrilled to have you here, and we hope it is going well. Do you have to? Are you in a car a lot, going to the different states? Are you traveling a lot?
You mean within the United States?
Well, within your region. Are you driving to Kentucky?
Yes, yes. The first 3 months since I started my job here, I could travel fairly extensively, like to Kentucky, states of Kentucky, Mississippi, and as well as Louisiana. But after 3 months, because of the spread of the COVID-19, all the travels and meetings are canceled.
So you're working
Yes.
pretty much out of your home or your office?
At the moment, yes, but we are kind of starting our activities, resuming our activities online, like online telephone conversation,
Right.
and also the webinar, and also online events. Yes.
Good. And so I assume you haven't been here that long, but it's probably difficult to travel back to Japan right now too with the pandemic because of just travel's harder.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's been difficult to travel to Japan, and also for the Japanese people to travel to the US as well.
Right. Good. Good. Well, let me turn this over to John for some questions. John?
Thank you, Mayor. And I think you highlighted a very important issue, the fact that they placed the consulate here in Nashville. They demonstrates the significance of the Tennessee-Japan relationship and the significant investment that's here. Consul General, maybe you could explain to our audience kind of the Japanese investment that has occurred here in Tennessee, say over the last 45 years, really from when Nissan made their initial decision to invest right here in Middle Tennessee.
Okay, as you know, that Japan is the largest FDI partner of Tennessee, and about 200 Japanese companies in Tennessee create 52,000 jobs. And there are nearly 4,700 Japanese residents who are living in Tennessee, and they are well rooted in the local communities. Yes.
Well, what can we as a community do, in your opinion, to assist these Japanese companies and the citizens, the residents, the Japanese citizens who are living here now, to make their stay better and to encourage more to come here to Middle Tennessee?
Mm-hmm. I think they are kind of cooperating and helping to each other already. Like, for example, Japanese companies are also encountering difficult times. But some of them, like Nissan and Bridgestone Americas and then producing face shields and contributing to the local communities. That is one example of the corporations. And also those kind of business people or Japanese residents cooperating with the American or local people to kind of make exchanges like maybe promoting festivals here. And although it's not really easy at this time to do the in-person events, but they are kind of cooperating to each other to do it virtually. So I think such grassroots exchanges are very important to us.
Well, and I have to say, I work a lot in foreign investment and work with non-U.S. companies investing here in the United States. And especially for those companies that are doing this for the first time, they always ask me, you know, what can I do or how can I do it and be successful? And I always point to the Japanese companies that have come to our region, because I really feel like they have figured it out and do it so well. And I think, as you highlighted, they get involved in the local community by investing in different activities and supporting different activities in the community, and also as well as getting involved in just the government, you know, in our communities. And so I think that's a great example that I always show to others. If you want to do it right and be successful, this is a great model to follow. So looking at Tennessee companies maybe going to Japan, what do you think maybe are the top 3 or 4 things that they should consider when maybe thinking about investing in Japan?
Probably, you know, there's a variety of chances or opportunities in Japan. So maybe for them first to make a kind of correct information or make research is very important. And also maybe they could see some opportunities which are not present here. So maybe they could analyze some merits of their investment to Japan. That would kind of be a start of their doing so. But there are many institutions in Japan as well as in the States that they can get advice on their, you know, making the move towards Japan. So maybe they can kind of get linked to them and kind of make their moves.
And does the consulate have any resources that may be available to local companies as they begin on this path?
We have an economic section, so if they need some information, we can, you know, provide them as much as possible. Yes.
Good. Well, I definitely tell any of our audience who are interested to please reach out to the consulate, you know, for this information, because I think there's some really good opportunities, especially now that the U.S. and Japan have recently entered into a trade agreement, and hopefully we'll be getting to a second round of that agreement. Do you see that coming? Maybe not this year, but after the election, do you think the U.S. and Japan will re-engage on a second phase of a trade arrangement?
Second phase would be kind of, I think, going on. And but maybe before saying that, let me share with you the first stage, which I think is very important. Like the Japan-U.S. Trade agreement entered into force in January this year, and tariffs for U.S. beef, pork, as well as wheat, dairy products, and wine are lowered. And at the same time, it will be easier for people here to have Japanese Wagyu beef and sake. And we at the consulate are planning to have online cooking demonstration to promote Japanese products. So I think that would kind of promote the trade of agricultural products in both ways.
Oh, so now on the cooking classes, can I just go to the consulate website and see a schedule of maybe when those will be taking place?
we are going to shoot it in this month. So maybe,
Oh,
yes,
great.
after a while, yes, we are kind of thinking about posting them in our Facebook and Instagram. Yes.
Oh, what a great idea. I think I'm seeing more and more of this. You know, COVID is a very, it's been devastating across the world, but I think a lot of good is also coming out of it in terms of using technology that we have to share our cultures and ideas that maybe we wouldn't have, you know, otherwise.
Yes.
Well, let's turn to some cultural events. I know the consulate is very active here in the region. Can you describe for us some of the activities that the consulate is involved with in terms of cultural events?
Yes, thank you for asking that. Maybe talking about cultural events, maybe talking about events in Tennessee. There are a variety of the bilateral cultural events. And one very notable one is the Nashville Cherry Blossom Festival. Yes. And
explain what the Cherry Blossom Festival is. Well, what is that all about? Because I don't think a lot of people really understand what that festival really is.
Yes, the festival started in 2009, and that's the cultural event taking place in Nashville every year. And the first in 2009, 100 cherry blossoms are planted every year. And festival showcased a variety of Japanese things, Japanese culture, and also their lifestyle. And the festival has grown to be a large-scale event. It was held every year. I understand Mayor Dean played a crucial role to create and grow this festival. And unfortunately, yes.
No, it is something that I think the city of Nashville is very proud of. When, as I said, we were so honored when the Consul-General office was moved here. I worked with the then Consul General to create a festival, and we did it. We still do it at the Courthouse Square. We didn't have it this year, I think, because of COVID. But when it first started, it was not huge, but it has grown every year, and it has got bigger and bigger, and the crowds are fantastic, and the different booths and foods and entertainment has been very good. And so it is truly one of the, I think, big events on the calendar in Nashville every year, and I look forward to seeing you at next year's. I hope that'll all work well.
Yes.
But it is a wonderful event, and we had a walk before it, and then we had the event, and it goes on all day.
Yes. Thank you very much, and it's nice to see you, and also the past photos. And this year, yes, as I said, that because of the spread of COVID-19, we couldn't have it in-person event, but a virtual event took place. Like various individuals and organizations contributed the video respectively. For example, I participated with the video message, and my colleague at the consulate offered a video origami workshop. And just Japan-American Society of Tennessee, together with the consulate and the other organizations, relevant organizations, organized this virtual event, and it's on their website.
Yeah, and it's and you mentioned that as part of the first Cherry Blossom Festival, and going forward, the Japanese government donated cherry blossom trees to Nashville, and these trees have thrived. And actually, I think we purchased some cherry blossom trees at one of the festivals, and we have 2 in our yard. And this year in particular was beautiful for the blossom.
Oh yes, it was so beautiful this year, and so beautiful that I kind of posted the cherry blossom and myself in our consulate's Instagram, which we kind of created in February this year. Like, the consulate has both Instagram and Facebook, and we have a variety of interesting posts. And instead of holding in-person events, which is not possible at the moment, we share various things sports like Japanese tea ceremony, kendo, or Japanese fencing and cooking demonstrations. And because sakura was so beautiful, I shared sakura here. And, we are trying to post things Japanese, but at the same time, I'm trying to post the local things because I'd like to make it both way exchanges. Like I'd like to Japanese people to know about Nashville and this region, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So we have both way kind of posts, and yes, and you can reach our Instagram and Facebook with the keyword Japan in Nashville. Yeah. So I hope that you like it. And in order to kind of post local things, like for example, I kind of make posts of my having Nashville hot chicken and meat and three. Yeah. As well as going to local places.
Do you like barbecue?
Yes, pork rib.
Yeah,
and
good.
Also pulled pork. Yes.
Well, you've done some really creative things with Instagram and sort of reaching out to the Nashville community. Right. Can you give us any insight at all about the Olympics? What's going to happen?
Yes. Olympics, it is postponed 1 year, like to start from 23rd July next year. And the name continues to be Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. We call it Tokyo 2020. And the Tokyo Olympic Committee, in cooperation with the Japanese government, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, IOC, and other relevant organizations, now is preparing for the games based on the principles, for example, to prioritize the health and safety of the participants and to simplify the games. And we hope that the Olympics and Paralympics, Tokyo 2020, will be a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of humanity working together as one.
Good. Well, that's something for us all to look forward to.
Yes.
John, you got any questions?
You mute, John.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I saw in one of the question and answers, this is a question I was going to ask about some of the cultural events, the JET program, because someone was asking about, learning or I think teaching English in Japan. Could you describe the JET program for us?
Yes. I have a great affiliation towards the JET program because when I started my initial work overseas in Ireland, one of my duties was to initiate a JET program in Dublin, Ireland. And when I was I was in charge of JET program at the consulate in New York. And so I'm very glad that here in Tennessee, there are lots of participants for JET. Like, for example, last summer, we sent a record of 31 graduates from 12 Tennessee colleges and universities. And those who participated in JET, after coming back here, we call them JET alumni, cooperate with the consulate on various occasions. So we are very happy about that.
Well,
this is a fairly,
my daughter is a graduate, so
yes, that's what I heard. Yes.
John, go ahead.
Pat, we have some questions. There's a question I know someone's going to ask. There's a question I saw was a good question. You studied U.S. history. Is there a particular time of U.S. history that is most interesting to you?
I think probably. I think it was maybe throughout the history. One kind of interesting aspect I observed or I learned was that US's policy towards the foreign nations kind of altered like sometimes it's very, independent, and sometimes it's very interested in foreign countries. So it seems that it kind of changes time to time. And so I was interested in the kind of throughout the history of the United States, rather than to be interested in a particular time.
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes in the past, we've been more isolationist than
Right.
other times, and sometimes more active. And there's a question that I'll read it from Luke, which says, for Americans interested in learning Japanese language, which writing system would be most useful for learning first?
Sorry, which writing system?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there different forms of writing the language of
The Japanese script,
Japanese script.
katakana and
Katakana, hiragana, and
yeah.
Chinese characters.
Yeah.
Probably katakana is the very kind of probably the easiest among those three types of the Japanese scripts. And also, since katakana, sometimes katakana words come from foreign languages, you may be familiar.
Yeah. And then for the question, a good question, what can a Nashvilleian do to help make Japanese and American relations better? How can they help improve them? Any advice there?
Yes, yes. There are many occasions. I think, the cultural organizations organize various events and also invite you to participate in online learnings.
Right.
Yes. So if you are interested, you can start from there.
Right. And there is, John is involved with the Japanese American Society here in Nashville. We have a sister city. We have a great sister city in Japan, Kamakura. Which,
Yes.
if you're going to have it's a historic, religious, beautiful city. Really, we're very lucky to have Kamakura as a sister city. There are, of course, cultural things that go on with the Consul General's office. There's a variety of ways to reach out, and obviously studying Japanese history and culture, I think, comes to mind. Something would be helpful.
I agree.
Right.
And if I may add, there's the sister city relationship you mentioned, Mayor, and then tomorrow, August 5th at 6:15, and then again on August 8th at 9:01 p.m., the sister cities of Nashville and Kamakura are going to be ringing bells to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombs on both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But the ringing of the bells really is to signify kinship and friendship and between the two cities. So I think it may be something else. If you're interested, it may be something you want to learn more about. There are some resources that are listed on the sister cities website. And I know, Consul General, I think you're participating in this event tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to participate in it. Yes.
We have a video, I think, a message.
Probably, I'm going to provide both video and a photo. No message is expected. Yes. So they are asking for either a photo or video from participants.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
But those events, I think, are going on all the time. So it's just checking back. And I know the Tennessee World Affairs Council does as well, have events focused on Japan.
Yeah, for sure. We do have one more question from Jim, who asks, and I don't know if you've gotten out to local markets and restaurants before the pandemic, but Jim wants to experiment with preparing Japanese food. Is there a local market where they can buy ingredients? Have you found a favorite place, Consul General?
Yes, I can think of a few places. And, there's a grocery shop called Sonobana, and the grocery section is made adjacent to a Japanese restaurant, Sonobana. And also, there is a kind of Asian markets like Fresh and Fresh supermarket. And even some supermarkets which may be familiar to you, like Kroger, Trader Joe's, etc., have sometimes very nice ingredients like fresh fish, as well as Japanese soy sauce and also teriyaki sauce.
And what was the name of the restaurant again?
Sonobana.
Okay, terrific.
Yes.
And lastly, I'd like to ask about the Emperor's birthday. I know it changed, and we have a new era that we're in. Can you explain to our audience the ascendancy of the current emperor and the Emperor's birthday and the celebration that we have here?
Yes. Emperor's birthday has changed from the December to February, and so maybe this February we could have a large scale events to celebrate a reception to celebrate the new emperor's birthday. Yes.
It's a terrific event. I know everyone who's been invited has enjoyed that. Well, Consul General, I appreciate you coming tonight and talking with Mayor Dean and John Scanepieko and entertaining questions from our audience. Are there any more remarks that you would like to make?
Oh, yes. Given the current situations, I'd like to make most of online opportunities, like including virtual meetings, webinars, and events, while looking forward to resuming in-person activities. In this regard, I greatly appreciate today's opportunity you have offered me. Thank you very much.
Well, Consul General,
again, thank you for taking the time to do this. I know that you've lots of demands upon you, and again, we're honored that you're here, and we wish you all the best. And if there's anything ever we can do to be helpful, just let us know.
Oh, it's my great pleasure, and thank you very much for that.
well, Karl, on our way out here, I'll just mention one more time that we appreciate people becoming members of the World Affairs Council. You can go to tnwac.org to become a member or to make a gift. The World Affairs Council is a nonpartisan, nonprofit educational organization, unique here in Tennessee. It's a one-of-a-kind organization that promotes global awareness in our community. And with that, I would again like to thank our guest tonight, Consul-General Fukushima of Japan, based here in Nashville. And thank you, John Scanepieko, for joining us, and Mayor Dean.
Thank you all.